Hello and welcome to another episode of Page Burners. We're working our way through the Malazan books by Stephen Erikson and Ian Esselmont, and we're getting closer and closer to the first Esselmont book we will read. Meanwhile, though, we are finishing up Memories of Ice. Today will be the final discussion. We're talking chapter 25 and the epilogue, and also discussing the book as a whole. We will also be doing a full series spoiler discussion, largely with a focus on new context that we got from Memories of Ice for the rereaders. That will be next week. And then, since we're reading in publication order, the book after this one will be Blood Follows by Stephen Erikson, which is the first in the set of novellas he wrote featuring Bockelane and Corbel Broch. Very excited for that. Looking forward to some laughs. This book had a bit of a heavy ending, and so much so Dan doesn't have a joke this week for his name. I'm gonna pretend that that's why you don't have one, and not because you couldn't think of one. So anyway, I think that's all the bookkeeping stuff. If you'd like to join us for these discussions on the forum, please consider checking out the Patreon forum. Shannon helps us keep threads up to date for the discussions we have each week, and we do chat about the chapters that we read there. I think that's everything. Oh, yeah, we have to do introductions. My name is Varsha, and I'm most excited to talk about that scene that juxtaposes Itkovian and Rake together. Two scenes that are back to back and have a lot of parallels. That was completely and utterly brilliant. That's what I'd like to talk about. Shannon, could you continue?
Yes, my name's Shannon, and I am most excited to talk about. Mm, I'm gonna say, how about all the bridge burners that went down? We saw in this last part of the story. From Whiskey Jack, Hedge, Deterin. I mean, just all of them almost, except for just a handful. So, how about you, Carl?
Yeah, I'm Carl. I am most excited to talk about. I mean, to be honest, I think the thing I'm most excited to talk about is the theme of motherhood and the relationships of mothers and children. I think it's really interesting, and I've been reading the chapter on Memories of Ice in Matthew Wood. Is it Matthew Wood? I have his book somewhere, but it's his book, Fallen Ascent, on kind of a Jungian, as in Carl Jung, analysis of the Malazan book, The Fallen. And there's some really interesting stuff in it. Definitely recommend people who've read the whole series to pick it up if you want to have some interesting new insight on the series as a whole. But beyond that, I guess if I had to name a specific scene, I'm actually probably most excited to talk about my boy Tool getting a second chance at life. Dan.
Yeah, I'm Dan, and I think what I'm interested to talk about was the appendix, because I did notice a couple of things in the appendix which were relevant to what we discussed before, and some questions from what's written there. So yeah.
And Steve.
Yeah, I'm Steve from Page Chewing, and I will mention it because Carl never does, but go read his book, Truth of Crowns. The links are in the description. If you like books like these, you'll love his book as well. And I am most excited. I think I've gone back and forth with what my topic should be. I think the biggest thing is, how the hell do you guys keep track of all the characters? Because there are so many of them.
We don't.
So many of them. How do you keep track? Do you take notes? Do you annotate? Do you just, maybe I'm just a brick and I'm just not, capable of keeping up, but there's so many goddamn characters in this book. So
No, I mean, I think this is a fair place to start. Like, on my like first and maybe even second read of this book, I definitely did not keep track of all the characters and got lost in the weeds. And I feel like this is the first time where I've gone through the book and actually felt like I could follow everything that was going on. It's very easy. I mean, it's overwhelming. It's hard to keep up with everything. And even then, they're still
And
like, I couldn't tell you the difference between all the different wrath priests. Like I just, that's all. I go smooth brain when I start reading about them. I don't know.
well, this being a reread for me, my first reread, I cheat. I go to the wiki, the Malazan wiki, and that's really helped me a lot this time, the second time through, kind of, since I'm not afraid of spoilers. I'm like, okay.
I think there's like groups of characters there that you can sort of meld into and sort of almost treat as one, like the Wrath priest that Carl mentioned. For me, mostly it's the Malazan soldiers or soldiers in general. I think they're mostly interchangeable. They're starting to stand out as separate characters with their own personality and whatnot, but mostly they're blobs who talk funny and it's great usually. But I think, yeah, there are groups of characters where I don't try to track the individuals unless it becomes important. Usually they're just doing something that you can track sort of context free, but sometimes they're doing something and you like need to carry context over. Then I was using the Kindle search function to see where we first met them. But and sometimes I do the search across books, but mostly, yeah, like I don't track characters. If the name or person is important, you'll meet them enough that you'll start to recognize them. At least that's how it was for me.
Yep.
um yeah,
Ditto
otherwise
there.
blobs.
I think you just kind of have to trust that you'll hold on to the important ones. And in my experience and the experience I've heard from others, that is generally the case. I mean, there are even characters that are like semi-important or like have interesting like scenes or relatively minor subplots that like you'll just lose track of. Like to be completely honest, like reading, like following Cole from Darujistan is like a whole new experience for me because I remember literally nothing of what he does in this whole series. And so I honestly, I keep waiting for something like terrible to happen to him or something because I don't remember what becomes of him. And so every scene with him is kind of a delight in that way. And likewise, Murillo, for I think most of the first series, was kind of just like, oh yeah, he's one of the guys from Darujistan. Like I don't really know much about him, and it was a later book where he really came to the fore for me, and imprinted, in my memory. And so I would just say like trust the process and trust that you'll hold on to this stuff that really matters and the characters that really matter. And if any of the names of all the places or all the people is overwhelming, I don't know, you kind of have to just like be very like Taoist monk and like just be like water and just let yourself flow. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I agree with what both of them are saying. And it's funny because I actually, the bridge burners and the soldiers are the ones I glommed onto the first time through. So I remember all them. It's some of the other ones that I'm like, who are these gray swords? Like, who are these people? I don't remember these people. So, but yeah, but the most important ones, you like Steve and Esselmont, they'll both give you enough context to like, oh, this is who that was. Generally. So you just kind of just have to trust you'll remember the most important people. And other than that, the smaller people, you'll just remember the ones you like the most.
Let's make this a little like a brief game, sort of test. So Steve, Whiskey Jack, you know who Whiskey Jack is?
Yeah, he's dead.
Okay, cool. Corlat.
Where is he now?
Corlat. Yeah.
I think he's alive, right?
Corlat is a she. So Corlat is the Tistandi who had an affair with Whiskey Jack.
Oh,
she is
right.
alive.
Yeah. Okay. We finished the book a week ago, so my memory is a little cloudy.
Calor. That's probably who you were thinking of.
Yeah.
Corlat and Calor destroyed me. I'll be honest. My first read through, I hated how close their names are.
It's a few names that are pretty close to each other.
Yeah, those are the ones that are tough.
Nothing like Relic, Nom, and Malik Rel or whatever.
Yeah.
Those fucking kill me
It's the-
every time. They always, oh my god, they still kill me.
Well, they kill me, but also, a lot of times when he does names like that, they're from a similar culture. And so I get it. Like, we have multiple Johns
Right.
and John Smiths and variations of that. So it's like, oh, well, Malik is just their version of that. So, like, it kills me, but I actually appreciate it because I feel like it makes it more real.
It's
I thought there
consistent.
were different cultures in this case. Are they not?
Are you wait, Malik
maybe
Nam? Yeah, they are Malik Rel. They are, but there's a lot of Noms and there's a lot of
True.
relics similar to that.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, if you tell me the names, sometimes I'm just going to be like, I don't know who this person is. But if you give me some context, then I'm like, okay, it's that character, right?
Kaladin Brood.
I like Kaladin Brood. I don't like what happened with him in Krupp, though, because Krupp sucks.
Well, we get it. Nobody's perfect.
You should
Krupp is
tell
the
him
best.
some more obscure names. See if you'll remember
Picker.
them.
Corporal Picker.
Yeah.
Are they alive?
Fair enough.
When
Fair
there's
enough.
100 names in the glossary or in the appendix, it's like,
Dog.
let me look at my notes. I'd have to look.
Yeah, I definitely.
You know what? When we started rereading this, I forgot Picker was in this book. So I'm going to give Steve grace on that one.
No, I did too. I
I had totally forgot she was in this book. I was like, oh wow, there's Picker.
Yeah, I think short of like the really major ones like Quick Ben
Paran.
and Ganos Paran and
Picker, Ansi. I think Spindle. I remember just because he's kind of weird.
Is Spindle? I remember because he's weird. Exactly, same thing.
But all the rest is kind of yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I still like. I don't think I could tell you who Ansi is at this point. I like vaguely remember that he's there. Is he a sergeant?
Yeah, I believe so.
Corporal Ansi?
Okay.
No?
And then
I think he's in charge of that squad that Picker's with. Until Picker gets promoted or whatever.
Is he the one with the weird warden with that scares animals, or is that Spindle? Yeah. See?
Spindle's the one with the weird hair shirt of his mom, and he's like haunted by his mom, and anytime he uses his Warren, animals start freaking out. Spindle's easy to remember because he's just like such an insane character that like you have to remember him. Like it's crazy. Well, okay, Gruntle. How are we feeling about Gruntle? Do we remember Gruntle?
Yeah, I like Gruntle.
Okay, that's good. That's one of the characters I feel like definitely need to remember. Inkovian.
Like, yeah.
Silver Fox.
Silver Fox, not a fan.
Fair enough. I get that.
That's fair enough.
I honestly, I find her really annoying in this book as well.
How about an Aster? Is he dead or alive? Do you remember?
I don't.
Little bit of both.
Yeah.
I mean, his body's alive.
Yeah.
I was going to say he's
That's
dead.
an interesting question.
Well, yeah, I guess how we're defining it, I guess. But talk.
His body's being driven by somebody
in
different.
The body of an Aster.
Is anybody ever really dead though?
Yes.
Except
there are some people who will never come back. I can tell you that with 100% certainty.
Yeah.
I understand your concern because some people do come back, and so it's a crapshoot that way.
I mean, Duiker, right? He came back.
Duiker came back at the end of this.
Yeah, he came back.
He was literally brought back from the dead, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why don't they bring Whiskey Jar?
They didn't do a bait and switch.
I'll say Steve, spoilers, an Aster's dead. An Aster himself, never see him again. Talk is driving that body for the rest of the remainder of that body's life.
Well, it didn't Talk come back from dead. I don't know what happened to Talk. Didn't he die? I don't know.
He's basically dead, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically dead.
He followed Hairlock into the Chaos War, and I think we were led to believe that he's dead, or concluding that he was dead was a reasonable assumption at the time. But there was
him coming. No, he died. He died in what we read. Like he actually died.
Yeah.
in these last chapters, and then was it
Yep.
Tog and Vanderay that one of them brought back as like a thank you for helping him out? Was that how I can't remember. It's been a week and plus since I read this stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, but they brought his soul back and they put it in an Aster.
Yes, it definitely was Tog and Fanderay because an Aster was technically one of the gray swords, and so they had some sort of power over his
Okay.
body, and he was already basically like a hollow shell because
Yeah.
after Itkovian, or was it Itkovian who took away his pain, and so he like became
Yeah.
nothing?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like
Kovian's
characters coming
dead.
No, I
back.
think it was
Kovian's dead.
Yeah, for now. Who knows? Yeah, I usually don't like it, but at
I
least
think
in
it was
this
the
case,
shield anvil.
I think it was set up decently because it was set up with Itkovian taking, like, creating this empty vessel, I guess, and the empty vessel was also referenced in the previous books when they created Silver Fox, so at least it ties in a bit more with the themes and all the other things that happened. So I don't know. I don't think it's as egregious as a lot of other books do. You know what I mean?
I think it's more egregious in these first couple books. It's just why people make a big deal out of it. Because I do feel like you see like Duiker come back, you see a couple people in Gardens of the Moon come back, but just wait and see. Like wait till later on. I mean, you might see some people still come back, but some people won't. They're gone.
Yeah. It is kind of just one of those wait and see, see who comes back, see who doesn't. This is definitely a fantasy series where some people they will just come back. Some people come back only to die horrible deaths. It's a weird series. It's unpredictable. You don't really know where it's going to go that way. It doesn't follow kind of traditional narratives. In the overarching story, I would say.
But also I think it's sort of defined in the mechanics of the world, right? Like we can, like Paran, for instance, he went to Hood's Gate and came back. So so there's this, I guess there's a separation of, and now with Talk and an Aster, there's some sort of separation between the body and the soul / mind or whatever. So I think it's sort of allowed for within the magic of the world. It's not an egregious plot convenience thing. It's there it's something that's possible in the dynamics of the world.
I think there must be, because I think when you die, like some of gods can take control of your soul, as in they can decide to put it here or there, or let it go through Hood's Gate or not, right? Because we've seen examples, like you said, of that before. And I think even when they said like Fenner's Reeve or something, they say when you die, like you go to Fenner, you don't go to Hood, right? Like there was something there.
Like that, yeah. With the priest, I think there was some deal there with what Itkovian did with Rath Fenner.
Yeah, so death is not like death. It's kind of like, well, you don't have a body anymore, and then your soul, like the gods, depending on who has ownership, it seems, or something like that.
Yeah.
Most people just go through Hood's Gate, I guess. But maybe in some special case, if a god really wants it for any reason, right? It seems like they can do stuff with it. Probably we can put it in a different place. I don't know.
If they get access in some way, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right. Do we want to circle back and like start talking what happens in a little more detail? Where did we start?
What did happen?
Well, we ended last week with Itkovian starting to embrace the Tilanimas, but we didn't go back there for a bit, I think, if I remember correctly. Chapter 25 started with something else.
It's the battle. I guess that's the big thing. Is it's really just, we get this big final battle. The bridge burners kind of die off one by one, with a few exceptions, and are immortalized at the end of the battle by Perrin, who blesses them in their sarcophagi. What else happens?
This one starts, chapter 25 starts with a setup for the Tog and Fanderay, their return to their throne with the Maib in the pit. So she actually did need to go there, as it turns out. Oh, I forgot. I should have made my thing the four people inside Silver Fox, which I think I made a big deal of out of what Krupp says, which is which. I think
You did. I mean, you're the one who brought it up previously. Do you have an
yes.
idea of who the four are? Because
So
I still have no idea.
okay, so let's do this. Oh, I found the page. So there are four disparate spirits. So the reason I thought this was okay, so the reason I focused on this so much last time was because it felt like a bit of foreshadowing. I don't know if it's intentional foreshadowing, but who are the people who bring about the Mibes um what future, I guess. Silver Fox, Krupp, uh, Tog to a certain extent with his not Tog, Tok to a certain extent, and then there was a Itkovian, right? Um,
Ikovian?
with the embracing and whatnot that he did with the memories
Oh, okay.
that what give life to the soil, right?
Okay.
That helps revive that dead land.
Hmm.
So I'll read this passage again.
Mhm.
For this is page 859 of the, I think, UK edition. We'll go again. Let's see. Yeah. The dimmest of memories frail. Yeah. Disparate spirits are united in disparate spirits are united in their resolve. A spirit of hard edges to hold the others to their course despite all the pain that others must bear. Another spirit to clasp hard the hurt of abandonment until it can find proper answer. And yet a third spirit filled with love and compassion, if somewhat witless, granted, to so flavor the pending moment. And a fourth possessing the power to achieve the necessary reparation of old wounds. Now, I
Hmm.
think because of the way this is phrased, it might just be Silver Fox because, like, the compassion thing, I was thinking it Kovian, but you wouldn't call him witless, I don't think. Or maybe it is if you take into account that the thing that everybody complains about, which is why did he need to embrace them before the battle? They should have let them fight and then embrace them then or whatever. So I was wondering if these four map to the four who
Hmm.
helped put together the world where the Mibe eventually ended up.
I mean, if anything, I would say the compassionate yet witless one is Talk,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
Ikovian is the one at the end who has the special
Oh,
power to release everyone.
yeah. Sorry. Yeah, Itkovian is the necessary possessing the power to achieve the necessary reparation of all ones. Yeah, I think that's the Itkovian.
I
Yeah,
thought that
Yeah,
was first one at Kovian, like the hard edges and hold the. What did it say? The first one?
a spirit of hard edges to hold the others to their course despite all the pain that others must bear. This
No, maybe not. You're
that
right.
sounds
maybe
like
Silver
Silver Fox.
Fox,
Yeah, like
but
could describe Silver Fox that way.
there's also to clasp hard the hurt of abandonment until it can find proper answer.
Oh yeah, that one I was thinking. Sorry.
Yeah,
That feels like
that's
Krupp.
that's
Yeah,
Oh,
Krupp.
crap.
yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, that's some he very much kind of through himself and his friends held tight to the Maib and helped her survive until she could achieve her heaven, essentially,
Hmm.
her rebirth,
I guess. Hmm.
her
Yeah.
eternal dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh yeah, the Mibe. Yes. Yeah, this could just be the Mibe, not Krupp, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, I forget if they say this explicitly in the book. Oh, they do. They talk about this in the book, and it hadn't clicked for me for whatever reason. I in the first couple reads, how the Maib is like Burn, and the story of the Maib in some way is reflective of the story of Burn, or that you could extrapolate at least a little bit about kind of how birth exists as like
Hmm.
the hinge upon which the world lives. You know, it's this sleeping woman who her dormancy is what maintains the world. And in the same way, the Maib's sleeping physical body is what maintains the dream world of the IMAS and the A.
Yeah,
Super cool, I thought.
that really was. Especially tied to that joke. I forget who it was. Like, how many sleeping goddesses are there?
Yes. Yeah, that bit is so funny. And again, the way it plays with kind of traditional motherhood and femininity and like feminine magic, I think is really interesting. That it's like this vessel for an entire world. Like the idea of like a Mother Earth is like a very old archetype,
Mm.
right? And the way that Erikson plays with it, I think, is just so interesting. Uh, and how it's not all, I feel like often when we talk about Mother Earth, it is often kind of, we think of as very nurturing presence, but there is the other side of it, which is just as real, which is the like smothering, devouring mother, right? The Mother Earth that, unleashes volcanoes and causes earthquakes. And, in this case, you kind of see it embodied in the matron of the Kachain Shamal, who literally smothers Talk continuously and just like holds him so tight to her that she breaks him over and over again repeatedly. I just think it's very interesting. But we can circle back to the dream world. I know there was some confusion about exactly what's happening there. We can try to
Yeah. I
talk our
was
way
going to
through it.
ask, could we actually just recap quickly the whole story of the Silver Fox and like the whole storyline? Because I'm a bit lost as to what the whole purpose of it was and like which parts were intentional and what did people know at the time. And I don't know, because things fell
Valid.
into place at the end, it
Yeah.
seems like, but was it like planned?
I think I have a decent handling on
Okay.
this, but Varsha, do you want me to go forward or do you? Okay. Um, so Silver Fox's plan was twofold. She felt bad knowing that she was draining her mother dry, the Maib
Okay.
dry. So she wanted in some way to redeem herself by giving her mother a second chance, a second life.
Okay.
At the same time, she wanted to redeem the Talani Mass and liberate them
Mm-hmm.
from their eternal quest for war,
Mm-hmm.
genocide, death. And she combined this with the help of Krupp and Krul into creating this dream world that was hinged on the Maib. Again, the Maib acts like burn and was going to be this dormant body that anchored this entire other realm
Okay. When
that
did she
exists
decide to
literally
do
because she
this?
exists. And this
Okay.
was the intent. And then things got complicated with the emergence of the beast gods, which they did not necessarily. I think Cruel knew and was kind of trying to pivot them, but I don't get the sense that Silver Fox knew that was coming. And then at the
Mm.
same time, I mean, she certainly didn't because she didn't expect the Talane to betray her.
Mm.
And then on top of that, you have the threat of I don't know if threat is the right word, but Ecovian coming in and essentially releasing the Talani mass of their burden emotionally, spiritually.
Okay.
And through that act, essentially freed them from the oath, the ritual of Talon that gave them their immortality. So they would have just like, I mean, I guess like faded away, essentially. And she was afraid she was going to lose them all. But thankfully things kind of came together in the end where the IMAS were able to be transferred over. Those that were present were able to be transferred over for this second ritual, leaving the kind of mortal realm to go into this dream world where they could just like live out peaceful lives along
Mm.
with BA and all, the old like prehistoric species.
So was this Silver Fox just Silver Fox's idea, or
It was like in conjunction with Karul and Krupp.
okay? Yeah, because it must be like a really hard thing to do. I assume it can't be an easy thing to
Yeah.
do to create a new world. Okay. Why did she not just tell them like, "Oh, I'm preparing this. Don't worry. Uh, once we're done, we can work on this."
Them being the IMAS.
Yeah, or even like her mother, right? Wouldn't she just tell her like what she was planning? It's very recent.
I had the same question, Dan. Like, why didn't you just tell your mom what you were doing instead of letting her kind of spiral out?
Yeah. So I guess what happened was like she was creating this world, and when she was creating like the beast, like the wolf beast, started like saw there was like a space or something, and they started going there, and that's why she thought she was being hunted. Is that what happened? And maybe
Yes,
there was some chaos influence too. I guess
correct.
maybe.
It,
Okay.
it it was just a misunderstanding. The wolves were there trying to like find her and protect her,
Hmm.
and she naturally, because she's a person, was like, I'm being chased by wolves. And this was certainly a scenario where Silver Fox probably should have explained things
Hmm.
better. Although I don't know that she knew
Hmm.
about the beast gods and exactly what they
Hmm.
wanted. So
Well, maybe.
there is that. I mean, Silver Fox is not like omniscient here, so there are holes in her knowledge. My sense of her relationship with all of this is that, and like why she didn't tell the Mybe, is that they basically haven't communicated the entire story. They like their relationship is one born of distance, and I think they just don't know how to talk to each other really about these things. I mean, I it is kind of frustrating where you're like, well, they could have avoided a lot of heartache if they had like one real conversation about it. Um, I suppose there's also the risk that the Mybe would reject her role as vessel because it's kind of
Okay.
another choice being made for her. She doesn't get to really embrace the role. It
That's a
is
good point.
made
Like they didn't
to
ask her
happen to her.
anything; they just did it to her.
Yeah,
I guess.
I don't actually even remember. Does she
Okay.
is she told that she's like the burn for this world at the end,
No,
or
because she's
do they just
sleeping,
explain to the
right?
other characters?
It's-
Right. I mean,
Well,
she is like a young, free spiritual form within the
yeah.
dream world, but I
I
don't
think
know if
no. I think
she's
she doesn't know.
told what's going on. So yeah, I think she doesn't realize that she's kind of the center of all of this.
Yeah, but I feel like even like when Philip Fox talked to the mass and told her, "Oh no, I'm not going to release you now." Usually, you're like, "No," but give sort of some sort of positive to like, "Wait a
Right.
bit, we're
Yeah.
gonna get her. Don't worry too much about it, right?" I mean,
That
that's
one
what
I
they
can't
done.
explain. I mean, I guess maybe she's like, it would be too difficult for them to explain, and they might like push back, and they may not be satisfied by the answer until they're there. They may,
Maybe.
I don't know. I,
Okay.
I, I do think, and you could argue that this is one of the flaws of the series as a whole. And, we've certainly talked about this before. And I'd be curious to like talk to someone like, who knows the series even better, like AP Canavan or someone, and like see what he has
Hmm.
to say about this. But uh, I do think in Malazan, a lot of characters just kind of hold things back. It almost seems like just because they don't trust anyone around them, and that
Hmm.
this is like a consistent theme among like basically every important character, and it is kind of repetitive and annoying that way, where it's like they're just holding secrets, and the drama is more intense because of it, but
I guess so.
you're like a lot of heartache could have been avoided, and no one, not a single time, kind of talks about it. um,
Yeah, I think we mentioned the last book about like, oh, they could have just told Felsin they were gonna escape.
right.
But yeah, I
Hmm.
think actually now that you mentioned it's happened a couple of times. But
And it will
okay.
happen again. This is a
Oh, okay.
consistent theme. It like major events. You'll be like, why didn't you like tell anyone like what was going on? What was the plan?
Hmm.
But that
Okay.
I don't know. I maybe it does sometimes seem arbitrary, which I think is what you're getting at. Like it's there just to like maintain the drama, and not because it necessarily seems like the most honest thing for the characters to do. I mean, it's literally not honest. Um, I don't know.
Okay. I just noticed it a lot. I remember when I was reading a lot of like romantic comedies and stuff like that. That's the most common
Yeah,
sort of vehicle for the misunderstanding, and then people don't talk to each other to create the tension for the drama later on, right?
it's it's definitely one of those that like I'm fine with it. I think like it doesn't like ruin an experience for me, and there are sometimes I think it works better than others. Like you see like certain like relationship things, I think it like that kind of makes sense. But like with the Talani Mass, like you point out, I don't know why she wouldn't explain it to them when like she's trying to maintain their loyalty, unless the explanation is an ego thing. I get it more with the Maib, where it's like their relationship is so dysfunctional and they both feel so much shame that like, maybe she like doesn't really know how to communicate this to her, and she's afraid of how the Maib will respond. But like the Talani Mass, you think like that would be like step one. Tell them your plan, that you're going to like free them, essentially. But she doesn't do that, so I don't know.
I mean, I have to be honest, I don't notice a lot of these things when I read on my own. It's just when we are hashing things out, I'm like,
right.
Yeah.
I notice it.
They're same. There may be a vague sort of explanation for why she didn't tell the Imas. I had the same question too. It's like why was she a total brat when denying them what they asked for? Like instead of just telling them, hey, I have a plan for you. But I think by that point, by her own doing, she was pretty riled up, right, when they asked her to let them go, because she was yelling at Pranjol to like because he had abandoned her or something. And so I guess she was just mad, and she knew that she had this future plan, but then she decided to just be angry about it and said no. Without the further mollifying explanation that not no, just not yet. She just said no. And but as explanations go, that's mildly weak, but it sort of works, because I think she was still a child when that happened, and she was childish.
Debatable.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that she has this complex personality where she does like switch between this like very old sounding wise, like you feel the elder god inside her, and then other times where she does act very childish. And maybe it is that dilemma that leads to her poor communication with the Talani Mass. I mean, I almost feel like it has to be an ego thing. Like she just didn't feel the need to tell them, She has that elder god inside her, and Tattersail, who was used to keeping secrets of her own, and maybe she just was like, her kind of instinct is like, I don't need to tell these people. Like, this is a military, I'm their general. They will do whatever I tell them to do because that's what they do. Which happens. It's not like all our grunts are told like every detail of like the larger game plan of military maneuvers.
I guess so. I don't know. She's a bit of an annoying character, I think.
She is
in this book.
I agree. She's really annoying. Yeah. She's like very conceptually interesting and has some interesting scenes, but she seems to be like constantly causing problems, and that definitely makes her frustrating. I think I also found Perrin much more frustrating on this read. Gano's Perrin. I just kind of, I sympathize with someone who like doesn't want to, like, is thrust into a position he doesn't want to deal with, and like all this stuff. And the ending is satisfying, but I also feel like the journey to getting there isn't as well drawn as I would like it to be. It kind of feels like he makes some big jumps off page, like we previously talked about the time where like he sort of broke up with Silver Fox, or was like, I realize now that you were really like, I was just in love with the idea of you, not really you, and that sort of thing. I'm like, yeah, that's great. Like, I agree that it was happening, but like, why did he come to that realization? When did it happen?
Yeah, don't act so high and mighty about it, I think.
Yeah, exactly. He did. He's just like suddenly like really like, yeah, I don't even know if I really like you very much. It was really just the woman in my head. And so, yeah, sucks, Silver Fox. Peace.
He's a bit, I don't know, angsty, I guess. But I mean, he is suffering from a lot of the stuff that happens, like his
life sucks.
Problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
But compared to, it's just very contrast compared to all the other bridge burners, which a lot of times seems they're having like somewhat of a good time. You know what I mean? And then he's just there like suffering and being like all how to say, angsty, I guess.
Well,
I
he's
think
like,
that's the.
yeah.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
Steve.
No, I was just saying he's like a fish out of water because of his background and his family, and I think he
Yeah.
probably feels like he doesn't belong and just trying to fit in with everyone else and gain their respect. And he's also reluctant to. He's striving to gain the respect, but he's also reluctant to even be in that position too at the same time. So he's
Right.
he seems very conflicted.
Absolutely. No, he is. I mean, right? Like you're hit the nail on the head, Steve. And he like finally gets that respect at the end after they're all dead. It is tragic.
Better late than never, I guess.
Yeah. It's crazy because you do kind of get the sense that like if he would have just like sat around and like got drunk with them or something, or like, you know, got up and like sang karaoke, like they would have all respected him much sooner. Like that's kind of the vibe the bridge burners have. But instead he's like brooding in the background and like failing to, you know, start up a rapport with everyone. And I actually like that stuff a lot. Like that's probably the stuff from Perrin's arc that I enjoy the most, is his like developing relationship with the bridge burners and his conflicting desire of like he doesn't want to be in charge of them, but he is in charge of them, so he has to do something about it. And all of that stuff I found much more interesting. And like his role, you know, how that ties into his role as the master of the deck, which I love. And my first time reading that, I was like obsessed with it. I thought that was so cool, the shift in things there.
Yeah. It's a cool character.
Yeah.
But while we're talking about Paran, when did we see him dreaming about the little girl? Was that when he had all those stomach aches? I don't recall,
Little girl.
because the girl who's stuck in the Ripon Mon, that warden.
Oh.
I was
He
wondering that too.
Yeah.
When did he dream of her?
Yeah, that he was dreaming about this child.
Wait, how do you know he was dreaming about a child?
He thinks that when they finally meet her, um, he realizes that this is who he had been dreaming about.
Yeah, when he said that or thought that, like I had that same reaction, Varsha, where I was like, did he ever dream about her? Did we see that?
When did this happen?
I have no memory of that at all.
Did we see disconnected images that could have added up to a little girl? I don't know. Like, all I remember from the beginning of the book are stomach aches that Paran had, and that was it.
I'm wondering if there was a thing in like Gardens of the Moon that we've forgotten about or something. I don't know.
But that's too early though, right?
I thought it was a function of him becoming the master of the deck, which didn't happen until after the hounds and the rebirth and whatnot.
I mean, yeah, it probably would be after all that stuff.
Yeah.
I just don't know when it happened. I mean, it's not just that he dreamed of a little girl. He dreamed of a little jagged girl. Like, you think that would have stood out, you know? It's not like there are a lot of jaggeds out there.
That's true.
I remember.
Yeah, I don't know when that happened.
I mean, circling back to the stuff that's like actually goes on at the end of the book, love the resolution with the Panions here and how that all plays out.
Do you? Really?
Yes. I love it. I think it's like, I get if you're like, oh, they kind of let him off light, like, you know, considering he was like, genociding, like I get that, but I think that there is something to like the redemptive, you know.
I think you need to like, I don't know, show some kind of repentance. I don't know, like some kind of like I'm changed, because like he's still an awful monster. And they just let him off. I don't know. I had a hard time with this first time through the book. Second time, about the same. I don't know. I don't love where we leave with him. I mean, the best argument I can make for it is like, well, he's got to take care of his sister. So,
I mean, that's literally the argument for it. I think they would have like killed him otherwise, but because they were like they didn't want to leave the sister alone.
I'm sure someone else can take care of her. Like it's.
I mean, but like she doesn't know anyone, you know. It's like that there aren't jagged around.
Give her a race. Give her a race.
No, give it to Kilava. Kilava, as her punishment and her work to resolve her error, just make her take care of his sister. That would be more fitting, I think.
Yeah, that's fair. I can get on board with that. That would be reasonable. I mean, I can understand wanting to like pair her with the Jagged, but they're also a solitary like race of people, like notoriously. So you know, Kalava maybe would have been a good choice for that. I listen. I don't think you need to like forgive him. I don't forgive the Panionseer. He has done nothing to earn our forgiveness. But I do like the reunion of the siblings and the idea that like reuniting with his sister is a transformative moment for him. That it like kind of opens his heart when it was like previously closed off. You know, I think you could say it's maybe overly optimistic about someone who's just been committing genocide, but I don't know. It worked for me emotionally.
Isn't
I mean, doesn't it imply? I don't. Maybe I misread, but doesn't it imply also that he was being used by the chained god, like, and he was
Yes.
somewhat influenced. I don't know how,
Yeah.
but is it implied that he was like mentally manipulated into it,
Yeah.
or?
Yeah. Chaos magic kind of infected him. I mean, we saw it with Hairlock
Yeah.
in the first book. I think that's important to keep in mind about all of these. Is all of these like House of Chains people, when they like touch that chaos magic, it drives them crazy. So it's warping every decision they make. And I definitely think it impacted him. I also think it's worth saying that like the matron found him, or he found the matron. And so I think it's reasonable to think that he may very well have suffered the same thing Talk did. It's not like explicitly said, but he talks about how he was kind of stuck with the matron's embrace, and the matron
True.
thought that he was her young, and that's part of the reason why like he gave her Talk. It was like, this is what she's lonely after she lost me and after she lost her real children, so
I don't know.
embrace that.
I think there is something to be like. This was one of the things actually I did want to discuss, was like, because it did make me think about real life and punishment, and what we do in real life. Like, if someone did something terrible, but then he's not going to do it again, and he's going to be a normal person, or whatever, is it still useful to punish them or not? Or like, if your mind is not there, are you still? I don't know, but saying, like, for example, I was drunk and I did it because I was drunk, I don't think that's a good excuse, I guess.
Right.
It explains things, but if you hit someone in a car while you're drunk, you still probably should go to jail. I don't know. I feel kind of in this case, like, I understand why, but it still needs some sort of punishment, I feel. Like you would put someone in jail for a while, and then once he's done his expiation or whatever it is for what he did, then he can go back and rejoin society.
But the problem with that is like our sense of that, like, what's often called like retributive justice, like that doesn't often redeem people. Like, it's the rare person that gets better from that. Often they get worse, and so like you have these kids, for example, who like go to prison because they like sold pot or something, something relatively small, and then it's only while they're in prison that they become really like quote unquote hard, right? And they start like really doing like terrible stuff. And
Carl, I can appreciate a good, prison making harder criminals, but the Panionseer is a literal tyrant who massacred people, forced people into cannibalism, and
this is a different level.
I don't know, hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah, no, this is a different level. I agree with that. This is a completely different level. This isn't some poor kid selling weed. Like, this is a completely different level. I'm with you there.
Okay,
I'm with you on prison reform, but not here.
Right.
So, here's another way of looking at the Panionseer redemption, though. How do we feel about the Telanimas redemption? Because you could argue that the Panionseer's redemption is somewhat of a parallel with what the Imas got. Admittedly, they had 300,000 years to rethink what they did, while the Panionseer got 3 minutes. But
I think that's it, Varsha. I think the Telanimas, I can kind of forgive them, because it's like they did this atrocious thing, killing all these Jagcuts, children, all this awful stuff, swore this oath, became undead monsters for hundreds of thousands of years. But now they've kind of come to the point where like this wasn't worth it. Like we're these undead things. We don't like all we're driven is, we're just driven to kill, I guess. Like, and they kind of, again, they repent of that. Like, I don't know, like they don't want to do that
Do
anymore. And
they?
like, so they're like,
Do they
most of them
repent?
do. I
I
think
don't
most of
know
them
about
do.
that. I don't think they feel
I
that
mean,
bad about killing all those Jagged. They never once say, "I'm sorry, Jagged,
Yeah.
for genociding you." You know, I think this is a
Okay.
bad
I
idea.
don't know
They're-
they just
if
sailed
they're
off
sorry
to
they did
another
that, but they don't want to
continent.
do it anymore.
No,
it's
they just
mostly
sailed
like
off to another continent, sure, to rescue their kin, I suppose, but
Well, that's,
surely to do some
I,
killing.
well, no, that's different. I actually appreciated that because it's like they could have turned mortal, but they gave up on that chance and said, no, like there's something going on over on this other continent, a sail. We're going to pass up on this chance to become human to get what we want to go do that. And I, like that's like they're not just massive. Like there's something else going on. Like they're aware of that. They tell us like there's other tribes over there that are getting wiped out, and there's something going on. It sounds like their enemy now is man, but that was several chapters back. They kind of mentioned that. So we don't really know what's going on over there.
I just don't buy the idea that they actually feel bad for what they did. Or okay, actually, I'll take that back. I think they maybe feel a little bad, most of them, like internally, but I don't think they've expressed that in any way, and they don't seem like they're interested in like healing, making the world a better place now. Like they're not like suddenly productive members of society. They're now like
I can't disagree with that. I mean, I don't see anything that they said that's opposite. All they want is just not to be undead anymore.
right. They're just like life is meaningless and this is terrible. Like our existence is terrible. Like that's how they changed. Is they came to just like hate their existence and wish they could all die.
But the Canadian seer hasn't come to that point yet. He still loves being an asshole. Like he's not to that level
Does
yet.
he? Does he? I feel like he kind of hates it. I don't think he's a happy guy.
No. But do you think if they Planet Mass found like his sister that was stuck in the rain, if they found her now, do you think they would be like, "Oh, you can go, it's fine," or do you think a lot of them would just be like, "Let's kill her. Let's be."
Yeah, just we get one more, one last one.
Yeah, so
just
I don't
just
think
for the
they
books.
regret what they did. I think they would continue doing it if it was right there. So I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Maybe after Ecovian, maybe they wouldn't. I mean, because he talks about how he redeems them, and so the question is, redeem them of what? How does he redeem them? Like, what does he believe he's doing? And my sense is that Ecovian believes by taking away all their pain, they will no longer act with the same violence that they did previously. Because if you think about it, it is their pain that motivated their quest to genocide all Jagged. Like they had some bad interactions with tyrants, and they thought, we can never let this happen again. And
maybe
the Panian Seer similarly was so driven by hurt and what was done to him and like the agony of his existence that he was like, let's burn everything, which is kind of the crippled gods deal too.
Yeah, but then why? Also, are we gonna forgive the crippled god event? Is that is that what happens?
There are
You're
7
like,
books
okay,
to go.
it's fine. You were suffering. Don't worry, it's all fine now. You can do what you want.
I think it's. I mean, it's an open question, right? I'm certainly with you in that maybe he gets off. They all get off a little easy, but anyway, I mean, hats off to Varsha for identifying. I didn't even think about that. The parallel between it is kind of like it's the same thing that happens to the Talani Mass. What happens to the Panian Seer? So it's literally just like a perfect parallel there, in the way that their races have kind of lived in parallel all this time.
Okay.
There's also the whole he was in pain, so he lashed out of it all, which Felicin just on a much larger scale with the Panian Seer. So I think Erikson does this really excellently, where he talked in several interviews about how he likes to, I think, spiral or circle around themes, like keep
Mm-hmm.
coming at it from different angles. And and I think I really see that during this reread, because all of these, like when you connect the dots, it's like the same thing but bigger, the
Mm-hmm.
same thing but bigger, right? Like with Felicin, and how this gets blown up with some themes of motherhood, like Carl mentioned, which then like becomes the planet, like the the mother of the planet. And there's even the redemption, which the scale of the Tilanimas was like this little thing that happens with the bunny and seer. So yeah, I really love how he does that, and then those give you lens with which to look at or judge these other events. If we were okay with that, why does this bother us? Or vice versa, if this is bothering us, why did that work? Why was that okay? And so on. And honestly, I think, yeah, a lot of these aren't answers, right? I don't even think like he's saying this is how it should be. It's more situations that make us question our own beliefs and morals, I think, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love about this
Yeah,
series.
I agree.
Yeah, I just feel like it's just I don't know, he should have at least been in prison, if not executed, just because it's
So
I mean, he's
extreme, his
very
fans.
deep
it's one
underground.
of the worst. One
Yeah.
of the worst things in all these books up until now. It's probably the worst thing of all the things we've seen happen. Like
Yeah,
it's
I
by
agree with that.
a huge margin, I think. And it also feels a lot like think about all those other like the Seer domain and Viewer domain, all those other people that got mindlessly killed to try to get to him. It's like the villains in the movie. Oh, the superhero kills all the minions, and then when he gets to the big bad guy, he's like, "I'm not gonna kill you because I'm better than you." You know what I mean? So
What hurts me the most about this is that, oh my god, maybe this is my cynicism is about to come through here, and it sound like R. Scott Baker or something. But like some of the worst people in existence who do the worst things don't do it because they're hurt people. They do it because they like doing bad things, right? Like they're just programmed differently.
yeah,
And certainly some, you like think of like serial killers are often like have abusive childhoods, but like not all of them do. And not all like of the worst atrocities are committed by people who are just like bad things were done to them so they want to hurt other people, right? Like that is certainly true with a lot of people, and I'd probably say most people, but like there are exceptions. And so I feel like you're taking a giant risk with someone where you're like, okay, if I give you a second chance and give you like someone to love, that's gonna redeem you, that it's gonna lead to you. Like I just feel like on a practical level, like if justice is really about kind of, I mean, I guess that's the question, is like, what even is
I don't know.
justice?
It's
How do you
hard.
get justice? What is its purpose? Because it doesn't like exist. It's not like a material thing. It's something we create. It's an ideal.
Mhm.
And I feel like there has to be some pragmatic level to it in terms of like, are you bettering or worsening society? Are you bettering or worsening everything and everyone around you? And if you leave someone around with the hope that they're just going to get better, if you're like nice to them and they have, someone to love, like I don't know that that's the case. Like I fully believe Adolf Hitler like loved people in his life. He was married. Like he famously loved dogs. Like I don't think that suddenly, like if someone gave him a hug and his dad was a little nicer to him, that meant like he wouldn't still suck as a person.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I'm just gonna say this and then finish this topic, but for my part, but it did remind me a lot of, I don't know if anyone saw the Vice documentary on the Liberian Civil War. I don't know, it's very famous. Anyways, they interview a guy which used to be a warlord at the time, and he says stuff like, "Yeah, I used to do like child sacrifices. I used to eat people. I used to do like crazy stuff, like the craziest stuff in the war." And now, well, he got off scot free, and now he's a priest in a church. And apparently he does a lot of good work. Like he's people with this, like, oh, it's very helpful. The community helps a lot for poverty, stuff like that. But he never, I don't know. He said I think he said something like, "Oh, I killed this person and I was eating his heart, and then I saw a vision which told me that this was wrong." And then from there he became. So I don't know. Like I guess he is doing a positive thing for his country now. So he is a net positive to his country. And he's probably not going to go back to doing it, I guess. It just,
Hopefully.
I don't know. It's just weird, I guess. It's just, I don't know. Maybe just my monkey brain, not following logic, but...
It's not just your monkey brain. It's like, it goes beyond the monkey brain to like the higher levels where like our culture is built around a much more like, again, that like sense of like retributive justice, that like if you do something wrong, you have to pay for it. And if you cross a certain like line, there's no coming back. Like for most people, the question is like, where's that line? I think very few people in a lot of like first world, like modern countries, like are down with this extremely radical notion of like almost unlimited compassion. And I suspect Steven Erikson has a more like complex, nuanced view of things himself personally. And I mean, he changes as a person, as all people do. But I do think this book takes the most extreme version of the view of what you should do. Like Ikovian literally has that like amazing line about how we handle, people handle compassion poorly, that like it is priceless, and that it literally, must be freely given in abundance. And
he's kind of like Jesus a bit in this book.
No, super Jesus coded. Super Jesus coded. Just you wait.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Steve, do you have any other thoughts? You're in darkness right now. We can't see you.
Yeah, my light went out.
Okay.
The battery of my lights went out. So I'm sitting in the dark.
Okay.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. There are, it's kind of, yeah. I think the what happened with the Patty and Sear and I guess it's a theme through this book because they took in the cannibals and tried to add them to the ranks, and so there is a theme of forgiveness and kind of reinventing yourself, I guess. But at what point, like, how far is too far? What is the point of at what point are you irredeemable? If you weren't irredeemable by killing people and eating them and creating, this other I don't know. I mean, or torturing people or torturing and killing people or just, I mean, how far is too far then? Like, where's the line?
That's the question.
That's a good point.
And who feels safe around the Penny and Sear?
No one.
I mean, who's gonna has beer? Who's gonna go have beers with the Penny and Sear? Nobody.
There's another question there too, though, of who gets to decide how far is too far, and the purpose of justice. Like I think Carl, you mentioned it. Is it to punish, or is it to improve? And if it's to punish, sure, all of them should have been locked up, and that's that. And I think we talked about this a little bit with what's his name? Starts with an I. Ikarium too. Right? But I think it's a lot more complex than that. If the goal is to punish, then yeah, everything that happened here sucks. But if it's not, if it's to see where we can find the place where the worst kind of people or people who did the worst things can still find their own humanity, how do we get there? I think that exploration is interesting and necessary. I
think there's one more thing for punishment. It's like deterrence. It's like those three things, like rehabilitation, keeping someone away from society because they're dangerous, and then deterrence for people not to do it, I guess.
True.
So.
I guess the person who decides how far is too far is the person holding the sword. When the that's the person who decides. And I think I'm not sure if it's punishment in this context, in this world, is more that if you let this person go, they will eventually kill me or someone close to me. So I guess that's more of is protecting yourself from being killed by them later, eaten by them later. Will they turn you into an all-you-can-eat buffet later? That's
Maybe.
what you have to
Who
decide.
knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
That's assuming, though, that I mean that's also tricky and complex, because that kind of thought process assumes that some people have more of a right to live than others, which, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, if you go around killing, torturing, and eating people, I mean, how, what kind of? I guess it depends on what. I guess who decides, but if you want to live and not be eaten by them eventually, then I guess you have to weigh your options and decide if it's worth the risk.
And I guess who gave them the right to decide for other people? I don't know. Why are they the ones deciding for other people? I guess in our society we have a way of deciding who decides, but here not really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the ideal of the law, right? Is the law decides where that line is.
Yeah.
And humans vote for the laws, and so
right.
Which also goes back to the Anomander rake and the sword and that kind of judgment, right? Like what Steve said, there's literally a man with a sword who gets to pass maybe the worst judgment on these people, and that's kind of what they saved the Panian seer from, right? If that kid had gotten anywhere near Rake, he's going inside the Jagnipur. But
if ever there was a moment for Anomander Rake to appear with his terrible sword, that maybe was the moment. This actually does remind me. You know who got the worst hand out of all of this? Total justice for this character. The freaking matron. She got shoved back into that rent and is just stuck in there for eternity. What are we doing here, guys? We're trying to redeem the Panian Seer, but not the poor woman who's been driven crazy because all her kids are dead or zombies or
That's it.
What is
her
going
kids
on?
Are dead. Here? She doesn't have a living sister like the Seer, so she goes in the rent.
Yeah, I guess if you're the last one, we'll just put you out of your misery and actually you're gonna suffer all of eternity and the chaos. What is going on here? The double standard is unreal.
Everyone hates they could change Mala though, so
yeah, they're lizards. Lizards don't deserve rights.
Lizards aren't people anyway.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs. They're dinosaurs. And no, they don't get rights.
Yeah, but it's a bit fucked up how the Warrens need someone to plug the holes in torture for eternity so they don't break down or something, right? Because they say something like that's the way the Warrens not heal, but are kept together with these rents, right? It's a bit fucked up.
That's the sewing thread you use to seal the rent.
It just feels like you either get someone who's really selfless and is going to damn themselves to save everyone else, or you throw the Panian Seer in there.
Poor kid. Who did a lot of genocide, but poor kid nevertheless.
He ain't been a kid in hundreds of thousands of years.
But I agree with you.
I mean, listen, I love the ending. I think it's great, but he did get off light, especially with the poor matron. I don't think I'd ever noticed or really latched onto the fact that the matron just gets tossed back in there. I guess for some reason on previous reads, I thought they just closed the rent. But no, she gets thrown in there. Her original punishment for, I guess, flying too close to the sun and trying to achieve the fire of the gods. She pardon me mixing Greek mythology metaphors there. What?
I think because we don't really get her story, obviously, so we don't empathize with her character, which is the limit of our human brains. If we can't empathize with the character, we don't give a shit about her.
I do. I empathize with her. I felt bad from her first
Yeah,
scene.
but like you said in your first read, when you were just breezing through it, you don't even notice these things, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it wasn't because like if I realized it, I wouldn't have cared. It's I guess because I didn't realize what happened. It's more like kind of what Steve was saying earlier, where it's like it was just there's too much going on, and like I missed that part, and so, I genuinely had no idea that happened, and when I read that, I was like, wait, really? Like I guess that makes sense. Did she ever appear again? I don't remember that, so I guess she just got tossed in the rent.
Yeah.
Like I think I had it in my head that she was dead, like she somehow died in the end, which would have been like
maybe
tragic, but like at least she's not in pain anymore.
But I guess someone needs to plug in the hole, I guess, right?
Yeah.
The justification they give is that she doesn't feel pain, so it's okay. But I guess that's another moral question. Is it really? is it just because she doesn't feel pain to do something so awful to her?
Is it? I don't know.
She
And
clearly
also, like,
feels
I don't know.
emotional pain.
Mhm.
Like she wails, she cries, like internally she feels pain.
Yeah, I don't remember who threw her back in. They said that unlike the sister, she won't feel pain. Like she's driven so mad that
Did
she
they say
won't
that?
sense this. Yeah, there was some explanation slash justification there for that. I seem to recall. But I
That
don't know
sounds
if I
like
buy it. That's
that's hogwash.
yeah.
I don't buy it for a second.
Yeah, there
It
is
sounds a
an
bit
attempt
like,
at a justification, but
like we used to say, oh, you don't need anesthesia for children or something if they don't feel pain, or women, like
yeah,
they said 100 years ago, right?
yeah,
Don't worry,
exactly.
they
How do
don't
you
feel
know?
pain. Animals don't feel pain. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, never mind that they're howling their eyes out. It's fine. They don't feel pain.
Yeah.
Justice for the matron. Hashtag justice for the matron. Start it up, Malazan fandom. If you're listening, we want Steven Erikson to know. We want justice.
Maybe she'll come back. Who knows?
Who knows?
We know. I know. Well, actually, I
don't
don't. I haven't read the SL1 books. Okay.
What else happens? What else is going on? Is there happy stuff? Gruntle seems to have grown up, kind of, but
So Gruntle is not the first sword anymore?
no, he is.
Is he?
Yes.
Very
Doesn't
much
he
so.
give up his Treach bracelets though, or something?
The
Yeah,
torques.
but
The
he
torques,
says,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he
But,
takes them off, but he's still the first sword.
Okay.
He doesn't really have a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His arc is very much parallels Perrin's, I feel, in that he embraces a job he doesn't want by the end of it.
What's the lesson there?
Sometimes you got to suck it up and do your job.
I guess. And do the job your dad chose for you.
Exactly. If you fallen into a job you hate, just tough it out. You know, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get on with your life.
I guess so.
Yeah, when Gruntle dropped the talks and then told Treach, learn to live with it. We have to learn to live without it or something, and we have to. That was.
That's why I thought he left for some reason.
I think he meant the talks because those
I
were
see.
Treach's. Those belong to Treach. But
I have a question for y'all. I know what my opinion is on this. I'm curious to hear yours. Do you believe Gruntle genuinely doesn't like fighting, or do you think he likes fighting and is lying about it? Or has convinced himself he doesn't like it?
I think he wants to be someone who doesn't like fighting, but actually he does.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I think that's why Treach chose him. I think that's why it all works and why he's ultimately able to accept the role, because deep down he is that tiger. He's got that predator inside him, and he doesn't want to be that, but he is that.
It's an interesting thought. I didn't think about it.
I think someone even says that to him at the end of the book, is that he talks about how much he hates fighting, and they're like, all right, whatever you say, old man.
I guess. I mean, otherwise, why would he have been like a caravan guard if he didn't like somewhat fighting? I don't know.
Not really money, but I just looking at his actions throughout the book, I think he says he doesn't like violence, but he inevitably gets drawn to violence.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he finds a reason for it. He always does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, for a soldier, like that's, or a guard, that's your job, I guess. Soldiers
Right.
use
No,
with violence.
exactly.
Well,
I mean,
he
I think
tried
that's the
to.
point. It's like the world is like. You go ahead, Shane.
When he was in Kapustan, I mean, he said all the things like he was going to quit and basically almost turned traitor, and then but then when it came down to it, and Stani gets raped actually, but he boom, and, he runs right into it, and I don't think he was ever actually going to retire and quit like he kept saying he was going to.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing. I don't think it's just like a. Like I think Stani is the same way. Like I think some of these people like they just have that like violence in them, and it's about like finding the right like avenue to express that part of themselves. Like they can't really bury it. It's I guess to get into the Carl Jung of it all in the book, right? It's like I don't even know if the guy talks about it in this chapter, but it's like integrating your shadow, which is like your like the unconscious, the parts of yourselves that like you don't want to like face, that you hate, that you may not even fully be aware of. And I mean, I think that's the tiger inside Gruntle, is like he doesn't want to accept that he's this, like he has this thirst for blood and violence, but he does, and he enjoys it and the rush it gives him. But he also has a moral compass, right? Like he's like a decent dude, like he's a good person. And so it's that conflict inside him, and that's why he's a good fit for the mortal sword role, because he knows how to like aim himself at actual problems and not just start a genocidal empire.
I wonder, do you think it's best for people in these sort of roles to, like, their true nature be like, oh, I enjoy fighting? Like, would you want your, I don't know, like your police officer to be like Gruntle, in the sense that he enjoys if he does get to fight or shoot or whatever?
If they have a sense of like control, self-control, I mean, I think that's important, right? Is that like this the sense of ethics and morality on top of that? Because if you don't have that, then that's how you get like war crimes, and horrible things done that way. I mean, certainly a lot of people are capable of it, because history is full of stories like that. People just getting caught up in the moment and doing terrible things. But
yeah,
I do think probably some people get more out of violence than others.
It's just because I was thinking the other day, like, I wouldn't want to have someone that loves violence to be a soldier or a policeman or whatever, because then they would try to find any excuse, I guess, or even subconsciously to do it. I would rather have someone that sees it as, like, something they don't want to do, but they have to do, I guess. But it's obviously going to attract those different type of people, just because of the nature of the job.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fair. I think it really depends on like the relationship with violence. Like, if they don't, if maybe they enjoy it, but they also are like horrified by it, or there's something restraining them. Like, I think that's probably good and healthy, but
it's still kind of tricky. It's still a temptation, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You just also want, like, I just feel like, you don't want people who are like incapable of doing it either, right? Who shy away, who flinch, who hesitate in the moments where you need them to act. And so, like, I guess I say this as like someone who's like very like not violent. Like, I have a bad history of like, grew up getting bullied and stuff, and like I hurt my little brother once as a little kid, and I think it like warped my sense of things. But I do feel like that, like, there is, I mean, the world is a really terrible place sometimes, and so sometimes you need fighters. But I don't know. I mean, that's an interesting point, Dan, right? Like, if they love it, are they just going to be drawn to it no matter what, and that cause problems? start pick fights they don't need to have.
I guess if this universe is a bit different because there's actual war and a lot of other things. So, but it is interesting your thoughts and like what you were saying about Grantel's attitude towards violence, which I didn't think about.
That's definitely my reading of it. Is that he likes it.
True. Okay, somewhat connected to the first sword. I was gonna mention, like in the appendix, because I noticed that it does talk about all the different houses, and it does actually list all the positions in each house. So it says, like, for each house, there's like the king, the queen, the champion, the priest, the captain, the soldier, the seamstress, the builder, and the maiden. And some of them are interchangeable, like in death it's called the virgin, in life it's called the maiden, or in one it's called the spinner or the seamstress. So but the theme is kind of the same. But yeah, I remember we were talking about this some times ago, like, are these positions in every house? And apparently every house has like these 10 or 9 positions, I guess, that get filled. And I think, we've seen some of them, but we haven't seen all of them. But I guess they do exist. Maybe they're empty at some point. They don't have to be all filled, but they are, I don't know, they're listed in here, so I assume they're somewhat official.
They must be empty at times because Cameron saw the I'm sorry, I don't know if we've gotten that name yet. The crippled god is trying to fill them with his burgeoning house.
And then there's also, after this, there's a section called Ascendants. And in the Ascendants section, it mentions, like, Opon, or it mentions, Mael. Like, it mentions gods in the Ascendants section, separate from the High House of whatever section. So I was wondering, like, are they Ascendants? Are they gods? Or is it the same? Or maybe, like, because these gods don't have a warren? Like, does Opon have a warren?
Oh, that's a good question.
So maybe there's a separate, like, the gods are the ones with warrens, everyone else is like an ascendant, even for gods or something?
It's all gods are ascendants, but not all ascendants are gods.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and Opon is a god.
Yes.
The two siblings are. And I don't know if they have warn if they were warned or not.
And you mentioned Mael, and Mael is a god. I think it says that in the appendix.
Yeah, it says here, yeah. But it's listed separately from, like, High House Shadow, High House Light, and whatever. Are those different? It's a different category, I guess, the high houses, compared to...
Well, those are... When we're talking about how the deck of dragons are breaking it down, there's light, because it puts everything in kind of order. There's light, darkness, death, life.
Okay.
What else is there? Is shadow? Shadow is one.
Life, death,
and
light,
then,
dark,
and
shadow.
Yeah, and then there's a whole list of them that are unaligned. So it's like they're not aligned with any of these houses. But that's just, I don't know. I don't think that's how the deck of dragons orders it. I don't know if that's necessarily just how things are. Because we do know there is a warren of light, a warren of shadow, a warren of dark. But,
that's where those roles come from that you were talking about, Dan, is from the deck of dragons. So we don't really know the origin of the deck, but they are ordered. Like, that's why the deck exists. And I don't think all the roles are necessarily filled at any given time, but it all originates from the deck.
Yeah.
And however that is created to act as this superstructure for the magic of the warrens. And that's why now there is this master of the deck.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
For example, like, where does then Cruel, or, well, I guess not Cruel, but like Mael, for example, which is an elder god, where does he fit? He doesn't fit into.
Yeah, he wouldn't fit into this at all.
Okay.
Outside.
He's an elder. Yeah, he's outside the deck of dragons.
All the elder gods are separate from the deck of dragons
It's kind of
and
like
the Warrens.
the chain got
Yeah,
back. He was outside. He's outside the deck of dragons.
Yes,
Until he's being put inside. I guess.
exactly.
yeah.
He was outside until essentially
Yeah,
now.
I'm looking at it right here. Yeah, Cruel and Male are listed as elder gods that are ascendants in there, but they're not part of any of the houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and then there is actually a section front aligned with Upone and Burn.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Cruel and Male aren't part of that.
Yeah, it makes me wonder, where does the deck of dragon come from then?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
I feel like we're gonna know at some point. It feels important.
Who knows?
Okay.
What else happens? What have we not talked about? We've covered a lot of ground, but I feel like there's some stuff we must be missing.
Have we talked about Moonspawn rising out of the water in the most
Oh
epic
no,
scene
that's such a good scene. How
in
did we
the
not talk
entire
about
series?
that? Yes, one of
Like-
the most badass moments in the whole series.
Yeah,
for sure.
of these first 3 books, that is like the most epic scene for me.
Oh my god, what an image! Yeah, Varsha right now for the listeners is showing us what copy is that from?
This is the Broken Binding edition. I forget who the artwork is by. I think it might be Felix Ortiz. I don't remember.
That
Not
sounds
sure.
right. I think it is Felix Ortiz.
Very nice.
You can look up all this artwork online, by the way. It's
I want that
out
book.
there if you want to see it. It's unbelievably cool.
It is.
Moonspawn rising up. Oh, I'd forgotten about that too. And then I saw like I was reading that and I was like, oh my god, that's right. This is so cool. Like it like all came flooding back to me.
Oh, I've been
Amazing
waiting
moment.
for it. When they kept talking about Animator 8 disappeared and now he's gone, and oh, maybe the Pantheon Seer beat him or something. I'm like, oh no, no, it's coming.
And it's not just that, right? Like it as part of it, he like unleashes darkness. And so coral gets covered in darkness and becomes black coral, where literally everything becomes black. Like the whole city is transformed. It's
Permanently
such a cool
touched
moment.
by darkness. Yep.
Yeah. Unbelievably cool.
Oh yeah, so now the Triste and Andy are gonna live in coral, right?
Yes.
That seems, that's the implication, is that that Moonspawn's destroyed,
Yeah.
and now they've leaked, Carol Ghislaine into coral. So yeah, this would be their home.
So are they gonna be subjects of the Malazan Empire?
It doesn't seem like that. It does not seem like the Malazans have colonized it by the end of it. We're not given any reason to believe they have.
Really? Because I thought like the 3 ships that were arriving there were to take control of the area. I guess that's what I thought.
I guess they get control of the parts that aren't covered in darkness, and Drake is willing to give it to them.
I thought the ships were headed to do 7 cities.
Yeah, they were there to pick people up to go to 7 cities.
They're just
Because
stopping by to pick people up.
They're there to pick up Dujik's army, go to the 7 cities, and support Tavor's war against the rebellion.
I see.
Yep. Yeah, no, I don't think Malazan has the troops to pay much more attention to Genebacchus right now. Like, we've done this. This is done, and now Dujik and the rest of his soldiers are getting on ships to go over to 7 cities. So
they literally, if the Malazans turned around and tried to occupy it, they would get wiped out. Like they're surrounded by enemies.
I think they are still occupying the northern part of the continent, like those cities that were all defeated before we even started reading Gardens of the Moon. I think they're still up there, so you have like a bureaucracy there. But yeah, I don't think they have they've been stopped kind of north of Darujistan. Pale is probably as far as they've made it, and I wouldn't expect to see them go any further.
I see. Are there any people left in Coral? Like actual people that live there? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember reading about it, but I guess we're gonna live with the Tristandi now.
I mean, we'll see.
With their dark elf overlords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess so.
What about the barrier the Bridgeburn has got in Moonspawn and Paran and Quickpen's visit to that? What do you think happened when Paran did he bless them? He blessed them. And then there was a glow. That totally had some Man of Steel vibes when that happened.
Maybe
I
last-
love that
the
scene.
Ascendants or something.
Hmm?
Maybe we're going to become
Yeah, that
Ascendants or something, right?
Yeah,
Who knows?
thank you, Varsha. And that tied into what I wanted to talk about with like, yeah, so the bridge burners, we see basically the last of the bridge burners, except for like 6 of them get wiped out in this book. And yeah, they had some epic deaths. I think Hedges was probably my favorite when he tosses the sharper or burner or whatever it was down at his feet and
Yeah,
Yeah.
takes out
suicide
everybody
bomb.
around him. I was like, oh damn, I didn't, like that's how Hedge went out. Damn. What was the what's his name? What was uh the Barghast?
Trots.
Trot.
Trots.
Yeah.
Yeah, his
Trots
was
is
pretty
one of my
epic.
favorites.
Yeah, because
he's
he kept taking all his wounds, and then he just keeps going until he finally just dies as he completes what he was doing.
what? So, who is alive at the end?
Picker.
Perrin, Picker,
Blend.
Quickbin.
Okay, Picker, Blend, Antsy, Spindle.
Okay.
There's somebody else. There's because they all get the bar. They open up a bar in
That's
Drugestane at the end.
right.
The last couple that
That's Verdugo.
survive.
Who's the toe
Um,
guy? Who's the toe guy?
The tall guy?
The toe guy. The guy with toes.
Oh,
Toads.
that's
His
not
necklace of
Deteran,
toes.
is
He
it?
dies. He's dead.
Oh, he's dead? Okay.
I know who
Yeah.
you're talking about. He's dead.
Okay.
Let me see.
Oh,
Let me look.
Toes. Yeah, Toes is dead. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Toes died. I feel like there's one or two more. Like there's a mage. There's another mage that's Spindle. It's alive, I think. But I don't remember who it is.
It's not Mallet, is it?
Mallet, yes. Mallet's alive,
Mallet
right?
alive?
Yeah.
Mallet's alive.
And it's gonna
Mallet's
take a while
the
to heal
healer?
from Whiskey
Yeah,
Jack.
Mallet's the
Yeah,
healer that's left alive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Steve, if he was here and not asleep, would be rolling his eyes. He's like, "Who are these people?"
Let's see. Oh, here we go. Here's the bridge burners. Okay, yeah. Antsy, Picker, Deteran's dead, Spindle, Blend's alive, Mallet's alive, Hedge is dead, Trots is dead. I don't know about Aimless. I'm not sure about that one.
Gotta be
Oh,
dead.
Blue Pearl.
We didn't-
Blue Pearl's still alive.
Who the
Okay.
hell is Blue Pearl?
I don't know either.
He was briefly mentioned. He's like half whatever race that is. It's blue.
The Napans, I think.
Yeah. And I'm not sure about Shank. But and Toes is dead. But yeah, I'm sure Blue Pearl's still alive. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah. Looking at the dramatis personae.
Can you remind me, how did Talk become a Barghast at the end of the book? I don't remember how that happened.
Talk?
Not Talk,
Tool.
excuse me, Tool. Tool. How did Tool become a Barghast?
Well, he
So
he got turned human.
How did he
And-
get turned
He's not
human?
Barghast? For some reason I thought he was Barghast. Or is he's
He's
living
well,
as
technically
Barghast?
he's a mortal mass, isn't he? Isn't that what happened to him? He just turned into a mortal, which he's an IMAS, so he'd be an IMAS.
I see that's what I'm saying is I don't remember what happened to him.
But
Now the
Barghast-
Barghast are descendants of the IMAS, so he's
Right.
technically wouldn't be that dissimilar.
But how did he become
Why is he
mortal?
mortal again?
Yeah.
What happened?
he went to Silver Fox and laid down his sword, and then
Yeah.
the next cut is him coming to
Yeah.
Anaster talk.
So we don't know?
in the flesh.
That doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Okay, so I'm not
the
crazy. I think
Silver
it's
Fox
weird.
can do that to him.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
yeah, it did seem very sudden when I was reading it. I was like, wait, when did he actually turn human
Wait, Silver
or
Fox could do
turn
that?
mortal?
I thought Silver Fox could only undo the curse and then they all dissolve into dust. That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Wait, Silver Fox is the
Oh.
one who turned him? Okay, I'm going to the wiki.
He was with
Yeah.
Silver Fox. The last thing I saw was him with Silver Fox.
I mean, yeah, I
because
guess.
because that happened to talk, I kind of assumed that what happened to all the Imas was that they also became humans again.
Because
but I guess
didn't the
that's not true. They're
Tistai
still
turn-
undead.
Oh wait,
But
what
Talk
happened to
had
the
an
eye?
empty vessel to inhabit. That's a different thing, right?
The Tist Eye, they were turned? Did they turn mortal by Tog and Fandoray?
I guess so. Yeah.
No, they're in the dream world, right? They're not in the real world.
Well, they're in the dream world, but
That's not
I
the
don't.
same, isn't it?
I think they were in the dream world. I don't know what happened to them. Maybe they turned to dust here, but they lived on in the dream world.
That's what I assumed.
Hmm.
Because otherwise, why wouldn't they just make them real in the real world? Why put
Yeah.
them in the dream world at that point? Well, this is a dream world too, I guess, in a sense. It's just Cruel's world.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
It's unclear exactly how that world, the mortal world, works, but it certainly there are implications. I'm not fully convinced that it's a dream world,
Okay,
but
I looked it up. It looks like here's Tool's track. So he, after being defeated by Mock and Coral, Tool was rescued by Sister Kalava, and he convinces Silver Fox to release the tie. So he lets go of the sword.
mm-hmm.
This act is crucial, symbolizing a complete severance from the ritual and his former identity. Soul released in rebirth. The power of the dream. Okay, the power of the dream morn, described as having power of dream, allowed his soul to become a real mortal within this realm. And then Silver Fox then brought Tool's newly formed mortal body back to the real world in Capustan. So he was turned immortal in the dream world. But when? I missed that part.
it literally doesn't happen on page.
Yeah, but that's what I'm reading here is like that's actually how he became human according to whatever.
Is there
See,
a
I thought all the
reference
mortals.
Sorry. Is there a reference in the wiki that points to maybe an Erikson interview or something?
I mean, to be
Okay,
honest,
so a dream morning career Silver Fox is to see. What
I
is
had a
this?
similar thing with Duiker. Like, do we know how Duiker got there? It's not described, right? Is
Yeah,
it
they
described?
carried him off at the end of the second book, right? The Baruch's
Yeah,
people.
He got the little doodad from.
but it's not described how we go from there to him being alive, right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that closing scene.
So yeah, Google is telling me that Silver Fox did it.
Okay.
For Tool.
Yeah,
I just thought I missed something in between.
I'm trying to chase a something. Yeah, like this is linking me to like a forum that says this, but I'm like, I don't know.
Because my understanding was that only happened in the dream world, and that like in the mortal world they would just turn to dust.
Mm.
Why wouldn't they bring everyone back in the normal world then? Why do they have to stay in the dream world?
I guess they want to avoid them genociding more. I don't know. This is a question for Stephen Erikson. I think when we get him again, this is something I'll want to ask. I'll be the annoying fan.
I think this is a good question to ask him. Yeah.
But actually, this is very unclear on the page, and the internet is telling us something that kind of makes sense, but not really.
I mean, it makes sense, but it's
not
what I read.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't make sense. It tells us what happens. It doesn't explain how it happened.
I'm not satisfied by this. I'm glad this makes me feel better because I'm like, I read this and I thought I understood everything. And then I was thinking about it. I was like, did I forget how Tool became mortal? Like, what happened there? And I'm glad it's not it's just not there. It just doesn't happen. I mean, it happens, but it doesn't happen on the page.
Anyway, to answer your question, he didn't really become Barghest. He just started hanging out with him, and and then meets Het,
who has the hots for him.
Of course she does.
Of course.
Who doesn't?
That's her main character trait.
I didn't understand last time I read why Paran settled down at the Azath house, but as the master of the deck, I suppose he kind of has the right to.
Right, he can take over any of those he wants.
It's like his house.
I do love his interaction with Race there at the end. Yeah. How Race is the sassiest bitch. I love that one scene alone made me just fall in love with Race.
Yes,
it's so good.
when Paran says, "I'll see you later," and Race
I have to remind myself this guy was the villain of the first book. I'm like, I like him.
Yeah.
I guess I mean, we don't know what he did, but he was a tyrant at
Yeah,
some
no, he
point.
sucked. He definitely
I
sucked in the
mean,
past.
yeah. I
We
mean, he
didn't
was a
see
jagged
it, though.
tyrant, which means he, you know, controlled people and was a tyrant. And then he came back and we saw him heading towards the Darujistan to, like, destroy it, right?
Yes.
Maybe he was like the Penny
So,
Seer of his time, and now he's
Yeah.
just hanging out in the Azov house.
I mean, it's not like he
maybe.
wants to be there. Like that's
Yeah.
actually punishment, like you guys were
Yeah.
talking about. Like that's
Yeah.
what you would expect to happen is you get locked up in a house for maybe
Yeah, he wants to
forever
rule over
and have
people, and
to
instead
like
he's
serve it.
stuck in his house.
At
And
least
not
that
just stuck in it,
prevents him
he's
from.
serving there.
Yeah,
He's a servant within the Azath house. Like he has to help people there. It is definitely an appropriate, punishment. The dramatic irony is real.
yeah, it's more appropriate.
All right, what else? Anything else we missed?
Anything from the
Harsher, you're
last
muted.
section in Darujistan, maybe? I don't know.
So,
Can't remember what happened.
I was asking if we got to Carl's discussion of motherhood and mother children.
A
We
little bit.
touched upon it a little bit. But
This might be something best served for another chat because I feel like it could just take up a lot of time, and I don't want to like take up all the time with it. But it's just definitely a big theme in this book in general, and the way that motherhood is portrayed, and how the loss of a mother impacts the child. Like you see this with obviously the Pandian seer. You see this with Gano's parent, who thinks about his mother and is clearly wounded by the loss of her, and clearly has like issues with women, which is why he latches on to not in like a he's sexist way, but in a like he's insecure and doesn't know how to like navigate relationships with women way. In terms of like you see that with like Tattersail and then Silver Fox. And I just think it's interesting the commentary Erikson is making about motherhood and both its like innate, it's something experienced by everyone, right? Like we're programmed like biologically that like you are gonna be born and like you will have a biological mother, right? Like, and so there's like we are made to like latch on to certain symbols and attachments right that way, but not everyone literally has a mother. And
Oh no, everyone has a mother.
well, I mean in terms of like
Okay, the role.
not everyone has a mom.
I see. Okay.
Is maybe that a better way of putting it, right? Like people, and some people have bad moms, right, who don't fulfill kind of the needs that they kind of are predisposed to want, or and then there is the question of like how society influences that too, of like in terms of the roles mothers are expected to provide. And what you see here is the way in which motherhood can be horrifying, whether it's through the tragedy of losing a child, like you see with the matron, and how that can warp someone to, I think in a much more visceral way, the MIBE, and how there is quite literally kind of a parasitic relationship between a child and a mother, particularly a young child, and how it is dramatized through the MIBE, and how she's literally sucked dry by Silver Fox, and the way that she was young and she had to grow up quickly. I mean, she's like a teen mom, and so it's not all sunshine and roses. And so there's this great nobility and innate like beauty to the idea of motherhood, but also nature is ugly and dangerous. And so likewise, maternity can be dangerous for the mother, or it can be dangerous for the child. It could be a smothering mother figure like the matron, and they can damage and scar a child and their sense of identity, and both their sense of like, you know, whether you're talking about like masculinity or femininity, or like even like just deeper beyond that, like inner sense of humanity. You know, you see with Gano's parent, and even Silver Fox herself, right? Who you can see how the guilt she feels changes who she is and how she acts, and leads to, I think, a lot of the like poor communication that we were talking about earlier. And Animander Rake, right? Like even the Teast Andi, it's not a major plot point, but I do think it's kind of an underlying thing where they are cut off from their mother figure and Mother Dark, right? They're this society built around this matriarchal figure who has effectively cut them off and abandoned them, and they're left on their own, and they're kind of flopping around living, you know, lives of ennui. And it's like this like spiritual wholeness is missing if there isn't this like level of like balance achieved between the child and the mother. And I mean, I think obviously there is like a duality in play here. You know, we're kind of dealing with like a yin yang sort of situation where like fatherhood, of course, is going to play a role, but like it's not as like thematically present in this book as in some of the others.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the fathers are not shown as very loving, right?
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, we have seen and we'll see some examples potentially, but yeah.
Not until now, I think. Not much. Baruch is the closest one. He's not really his father, right?
Yeah. He's the uncle.
That's my uncle.
No, he's not. No, that was Mammoth. Or
oh yeah,
one of the
I
M
was
names.
thinking. Anyways,
Yeah.
I don't know, but it is a point. Like, it's, I guess what you're saying, all the stuff about motherhood, is like, it's true, but it would be nice to see some loving fathers too, I think.
Yes, we'll see some.
Okay.
I don't think that's a spoiler. There are some paternal relationships that I think are. There are probably more bad ones though, you know, but that's fiction for you.
That's
I think usually in fiction, the father is not like the role of a mother. Few times there's a father in a similar position in a lot of literature, right?
I think you look at this and it's not like, I mean, the moms aren't presented in a positive light. Like, again, it's drama, it's fiction. Like, these are largely like disturbed, toxic maternal relationships. And so I it's the same thing either way, I would say. It's very few that we're seeing like a really loving, you know, mom-child situation.
I guess.
Yeah, but I can't think of anybody in this book that's worse than like some of the parents in A Song of Ice and Fire. I mean, come on.
Sure.
Like, if we have a bar, I mean, like, yeah, they're bad, but they're not epically bad.
Yeah.
No. I mean, the Maib, honestly, for the cards she's dealt, does a pretty good job. Like, an admirable job. Her whole life is ruined. And she starts out the book being like, I'm not going to hold this against Silver Fox. You know, I'm going to be kind to her because this isn't her fault. She didn't want this. And eventually she becomes resentful, but it takes a while after her body is really falling apart. So
can't blame her.
Well, I don't know.
She's actually, I think a kind of
she
heroic.
borderline goes crazy, like over near. Yeah, I mean, she's all the wolves are hunting her and all this stuff, and I mean, it's just over. You know, she.
We'll see.
I don't know.
Next book, we'll see what happens.
Well, I know one last thing I wanted to talk about, and I was hoping it'd be a segue into the quotes, but Varsha just disappeared.
I think she'll be back.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. But I did want to talk about the very, very last. I mean, last couple paragraphs, really. We touched on it earlier, but Duiker returns. We got hinted at last book that he was going to come back. Now we see him actually come back, and I love the very last sentence of this book. You know, it says Picker began to turn back to her companions. Then the man began speaking. Very well, permit me, if you will, on this night, to break your hearts once more. This is the story of the chain of dogs, of Coltane and the Pro-Clan, newly come fist of the 7th Army. You know,
It's a great ending.
which I hate that kind of tells you I like the last book more than this book because that sentence like affected me more than most of the book we just read.
I will admit that I came into this reread preferring Memories of Ice like by a fair
Hmm.
margin over Dead House Gates, and in this read, it's easily night and day for me how much
Yeah,
more I enjoyed Dead House Gates than Memories of Ice. Like I still like Memories of Ice, but like I really
yeah,
there were some chapters where I was struggling a lot more, some
yeah.
subplots, which is the reverse of what it was like for my first
Hmm.
two reads
I
of
agree.
these
I
books.
think next week we'll definitely talk more about it in the spoiler stuff. But
Yeah,
yes, Chain of Dogs I liked so much more the second time through. This
less.
one, I don't want to say I liked it so much less, but I liked it less the second time through. But I am looking forward to the next book more this time.
Me too.
I think the
Dan,
first
So
half of this book is maybe I enjoyed more, but the
yeah.
second half definitely less.
I feel the
yeah,
same way. After
yeah,
Kapustan, my interest
Yeah,
definitely drops off a bit.
yes. Keeper stands like the climax,
Yeah.
kind of early,
yeah.
and then we just kind of drag it out.
Dan, a few questions
Well, sorry,
for
can I
you
ask you a
about.
question about what Shannon said? Because I was wondering what you guys
Yeah.
think. What if you swap the order of the second and third, and like Duiker is like here, and then he says, "Let me tell you the story," and then you go into the story. What do you think
Hmm.
if it was done like that?
That's kind of originally what it was supposed to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Memories of Ice was supposed to be the second book. I mean, I imagine in the writing that Erikson wrote it with the way it was ultimately released in mind. So he probably like this isn't like if you
yeah,
reading this in chronological or in release date order is like probably the very much the intended way. But I think you could
yeah,
do Memories of
yeah,
Ice first. Like I think it would lead
yeah.
into it.
Yeah, I'll say Dan. I know the at least the story I've heard told us that basically he wrote like half of Memories of Ice or something on his computer, and then it crashed, and he lost it all. So then he wrote Memories. Then he went and wrote Chain of Dogs and all of that, and then he came back and rewrote this.
I can completely understand that. If I wrote a lot of it and it would be gone, I would not want to touch it for the longest time.
Yeah,
Worst nightmare. I can't even
I mean,
imagine. Like I get secondhand like trauma from hearing
Oh
that. It's
god,
just
yeah.
horrible.
yeah. So
Okay,
that's. I
Dan,
mean, I get it.
my questions for you are so you have read this book before, but it was
Yeah,
really hazy in your memory.
yeah.
And so were you shocked by the reveals of first of all the Panionseer's identity and second of all Duiker's survival and how, you know, where he ends up at the end of all of this? And then my second question is, were those reveals satisfying to you, or were they unsatisfying?
I did not remember Duikers, but I did like. I remember in the
Huh?
last book I said like, if there's something going on, there must be because of they draw attention to the vial and stuff like that. So it was like
Yeah.
I was prepped to be like something is happening. Either his soul is taken and put into a new body or whatever. I thought it was going to be something like the crows that go pick up or something like that. I thought. So that one was like okay, not super surprising. And then the Jag, I don't know, because like I guess once it they say it, you're like, ah, yeah, obviously. So I think I kind of felt like that. I kind of felt like I always knew without knowing that it was, because I guess it could not have been anyone else, right?
Right, right.
I think
Yeah.
that's what you said. Like it can't be anyone else, really, given what we know. I just didn't think about it. Like I knew all the pieces, I just didn't put them together. Um, but it wasn't like a twist. So it didn't feel like a twist. It didn't feel like it's a clever manipulation of what I was thinking because it didn't prep me to think anything. It just didn't tell me. So I just like interesting, very interesting. That makes sense. That fits with everything else. But it didn't feel like a twist.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I remember my first time going through this, and it kind of blew my mind. But in the same way, like you were saying, where it's like it's not actually like when you take a step back, it's like, well, of course, like there's no one else it really could be. Like that's the only person who makes any sense that's been like introduced in this story. But it was still very satisfying. Like, oh, that explains so much, and like definitely
Yeah.
highlights
Yeah.
what
But
the motivation is for that character the entire time, and adds a new light or shines a new light on their behavior. And what's crazy to me is how explicit or how heavy-handed Erikson actually is with the hints throughout the book. Like, I've been talking about this, I don't remember for how long, but since like fairly early in the book, about how like they let you know pretty early on that he's Jagged, and that he's acting like a little boy, and that there's just like all these allusions to the character and to the prologue.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing to me that despite all that, I guess just because there's so much going on, it's easy to just like skirt past it and not fully absorb that.
But I guess it
Um,
doesn't. I don't know. The thing is, it doesn't really matter. Even if during this part, even if it was explicitly said who he was, I feel like it would have been the same. But I feel like what really was to me way better was the Itkovian like taking the souls of the mass. That felt to me a lot more like, oh, this
oh
is an interesting way of
yeah,
resolving this thing. I didn't expect it. It was set up, but then this was resolved in a thing that matters a lot for the plot and for
I
what's
agree.
happening. You know what I mean?
That for me is one of the all-time twists in any story
Yeah.
I've ever read, because it's like it was all laid out in front of you, but it goes in a way you've never seen in a story before. Like, it goes totally against what you expect, based on what he's done. Like, you expect him to go up to like the Panion Seer and like take his pain away or something.
Yeah.
You don't expect him to go up to like the supporting army, who is full of existential angst, and you know make them lose their vow, essentially take it all away.
Yeah.
Varsha, we're talking about the Penionseer and the reveal of who he is. I remember you, at least for a lot of the book, had forgotten and didn't have the revelation. So, like, what was that like for you, rediscovering that?
Um, I think it felt very satisfying. Like in the same way that Dan said, I think you put it really well, Dan. It's like, yeah, it was all there, and it was there for us to connect at any point. But just in case we didn't, here's oh, by the way, this is who he is, and I like that. I find that really satisfying. It wasn't a big reveal. It was just, in case you're still wondering about this is what it is. Yeah.
Because it doesn't really do anything for the story, right? Even if he
Mm,
wasn't, the story could be the same, really.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Unlike the other thing, which it's very different.
Mm,
Maybe that's the difference.
yeah. Yeah. And I think that one got me again this time. Not quite as much. Yeah, I think the Itkovian side of it, maybe because it's so built up in my head. I thought,
Mm.
for one thing, that it lasted longer and that there was
Yeah.
more detail in how that all came about. But I think just it was what, a total of 3 pages. It's amazing the impact it had on me through all of this, and I think that's something this book does a lot of. This, even the Grantal bits, right? I think we talked about how in Kapistan we don't actually see Grantal doing any fighting. What we do get is Itkovian getting reports of how the fight is
Mm.
going, or not Itkovian, or maybe it was Brukalian, and that's how we know, like, but like, Gruntle has been built up in my mind as like this big warrior, which he is, but it's not from seeing any fighting on the page. It's from
Yeah.
seeing the impact it had on everybody else. And Itkovian is very similar. I think the final burial scene with the Tilanamas offering their little knickknacks as gifts. I think that's probably what did it, like what built Itkovian up in my mind. So yeah, I think that's something that's really interesting about what this book in particular does. I'd be curious to see how much of this device he uses in other books too, because I definitely didn't notice the first time around, is how much impact we're getting from not actually seeing the action, but more from looking at it from the impact it had on other people.
It's a great point. It's really a wonderful showing of craft. In film school, one of the first exercises we did for screenwriting was to write two scenes. One with a character preparing for a big like some big action they're going to take, and then one with that character in the immediate aftermath of the action, trying to highlight that exact property, that like you can get so much drama and show like so much emotion from those experiences, and without actually showing the event in question. There's a lot you can do off page, off screen, right? That can be just as, or possibly even more impactful because of just what's implied versus what you actually see.
Yeah. What I got from you said was like, which I also think is that a lot of the important events and like crucial scenes feel like they're much bigger when you think back about them compared to when you're actually reading them. When you're reading them, it's like, oh wait, it's 2 pages, or it's like one chapter and it's done.
Right.
I think I said like earlier in this discussion, it's like, oh, I guess we're not going to finish the Siege of Kapostan in this book because there's not much left. Because I didn't remember it. I remember it being much longer.
Yeah.
I think that's something he does quite well. Is like the important things, they stick in your mind and they become much larger and they fill in a lot of this space in the book.
Yeah.
Because that's what you want. You want the important things to feel longer, and the in between bits to feel more breezy and more short and easier to read through, which
Absolutely
is what sticks in your mind after, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And in some ways, this book, the experience of this book was a little bit opposite of Dead House Gates. Like, I remember thinking a lot of the things that happened in Dead House Gates, I was like, oh, I didn't think this happened until much later in the book. And and with this book, it's like, how has the siege not started yet? How are we not there yet? But it all
Right.
happens in the last chapter and a half. uh, Not siege per se, like the final battle, but whatever. Yeah, it's all really brilliant and it's amazing. That line about compassion, it has stuck with me. uh I think that's something that I keep thinking back to, and I guess it influences how I think about certain situations. So like for an author to do that, I think for me it's important and kind of a big deal. Yeah.
Ditto. I think that's a great transition. Two quotes, right?
Yes.
Unless anything else, or
I
you
mean,
ready for?
the thing that I wanted to talk about, we can do through quotes. I wanted to talk about the Itkovian versus Rake scene.
Oh yes, please. That's right.
Yes. So there's this scene, right? In my edition, which I think is the UK paperback edition page numbers, the there's two back-to-back scenes on page 1103 and in chapter 25. It's Itkovian sensing the pain of the Imas, right? Uh, like they've got this like sort of back and forth. Uh, To me, then, I will take your pain now. You are mortal. I am mortal. You cannot carry our pain. I can. And so it goes. And the final ish lines of this. It rose before him, a wave of immeasurable height, rose towering, then plunged towards him. And they saw, one and all, they saw Itkovian's welcoming smile. And then the immediate scene after that, it's got, I think, this image of Rake standing on a mountain, on like
Moonspawn.
Moonspawn, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it says, wait, there's this, yeah. Hmm. A true unveiling, all of the Testandi joined in ritual magic. The world has never known this. But there's some image of like, oh wait, maybe it's before. Oh, sorry, never mind. It's not after, it's before. When it's 2/3 now clear of the churn seas, slowly spinning, bringing into view, high on one side, a ledge where stood a lone figure. So I love this image of like this mountain, this literal mountain with a lone figure, and then this other lone figure dealing with the mountain of grief and pain. The two scenes side by side, that was just so evocative, and I think some excellent foreshadowing slash setup for some stuff that's to come with Rake in book 7 or 8, sorry.
8.
Yeah. Yeah, I that just ripped me apart in so many ways. I loved it.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I hadn't noticed that. Good analysis.
quotes?
Let's do quotes.
Who wants to do the one about compassion? Who's able to find it first?
Not me. I need to find.
Meanwhile, the police are coming for Dan.
I think it's the ambulance.
Oh, the ambulance? Okay.
I live near the hospital after all.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you mentioned that. Oh, yes, I found it. Shannon, did you find it? Do you want to do this one?
You can.
Hmm?
No, you can.
Okay. We humans do not understand compassion. In each moment of our lives, we betray it. We know of its worth, yet in knowing, we then attach to it a value. We guard the giving of it, believing it must be earned. Telonimus, compassion is priceless in the truest sense of the word. It must be given freely in abundance. And then I didn't this response didn't really get me last time, but I think it's Branchol. He says, "We do not understand, but we will consider long your words," which is kind of true of what I've been doing with that paragraph. So I like that. I like what he said. But we will consider long your words.
Very nice.
Good quotes. That compassion one's iconic.
Yes.
Mm.
I can't find my book, so I unfortunately don't have any quotes. Good into this.
I said my quote while you were away, Varsha. It was just the very last sentence of the book talking about the chain of dogs.
Oh yeah, nice. Yes, I like that
That was
one.
that was a good gut punch right at the very end.
Oh yeah, it was.
Best quote, Memories of Ice.
Best quote in Memories of Ice. Yes. Oh, I like.
It says, you never learn. We humans don't understand compassion. In each moment of lives, we betray it.
Mhm.
We know its worth, yet in knowing, we then attach to it a value. We guard the giving of it, believing it must be earned. Mass, compassion is priceless in the truest sense of the word. Okay. Well, it's probably somewhere in these chapters, it feels. It's cool.
Varsha literally just read that.
I thought she read the after that.
So I read that, and then I read the line
Ah.
after, which he says people long consider it.
Oh, I was ignoring you then.
Yes, you were.
I guess so.
Or
No, it's probably because
Or
I'm
there's something
misogynistic and I
about-
don't listen to women. That's probably why.
Yeah, nothing personal, Varsha.
No, it's just
just
how can it be worse and better at the same time?
Yep, you're quite the master of that. Wait, oh yeah, this last one. Unless people have more. Sorry, Treach. Learn to live with the loss. We do. That's Grunter with the talks, which he gave up on Itkovian Sparrow. Trinkets, that's the word I wanted, not knickknacks. Anyway.
That's a beautiful scene. I'm glad you brought that one up because I'd forgotten about it. Beautiful scene.
Yes.
It's.
Oh.
I tried putting into ChatGPT,
Mm-hmm.
and it gave me a quote, which is it what? It says, "Children are dying. That's the truth, but truth comes in flavors, doesn't it? Like ice cream. Some are unpalatable. Still, it's the same truth." What?
No way. That's crazy.
Okay.
I swear. This is the first, and it says, "Typical of Erikson's way of undercutting horror with gallows humor." That's it.
It's just
How did you
making stuff up. Oh my.
Yeah,
that's
fully
a-
hallucinated that. That's
That's-
crazy.
There is no
Oh my
mention of
God.
ice cream in any of the 10 books.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
it's a crazy quote to just make up. I think like children dying, it's the same as ice cream. It's what?
I don't think we can top that. I think
No.
that's it.
That's a good note to end the book on. We wrap up. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week with a spoiler-filled discussion of the entire series. And then Blood follows in a couple of weeks after that. House of Chains will start in October. Thank you so much. And you can think about ice cream and children dying together if you so inclined.
I guess.
Oh, God.
Bye.